Tonight, I show you some money-saving tips. Some pipes get moved around. And a can of spray paint appears on screen. If you watched last episode, you'll see we finally got this mad turbo setup all finished. So now it's time to throw some more parts to this engine bay and get this thing ready to finally start. Kicking off the parts list is this absolute min score I got for 160 bucks. These STI genome strut braces are getting really hard to find now, so this one here was a very welcome purchase. The strut brace, along with the STI steering knuckle I put in, should help clean up the steering and make for a much better driving experience. Our fuel pressure regulator is a GFB FXS. Its job is to make sure that the fuel pressure stays relative at vacuum and during boost, so the ECU knows exactly how much fuel supply is going through the injector rails. The FXS comes with a variety of ports to suit different options for fittings and gauges. I'm threading these in using some normal thread tape. There's multiple ways you can set these up. In this case, ours is going to be a partial return setup, where the fuel block we put on the top of the engine is fed fuel and sends the excess back to the regulator to maintain pressure while the rails don't return anything. The regulator gets mounted near the factory fuel lines. I'm hardwiring the pump to drain the tank out before fitting up a new OEM fuel filter. I'm using brand new high pressure 8mm fuel line. The original clamps are being reused as they're super solid and will work just fine. The fuel routing is from the tank, to the filter, into the fuel block, which then feeds the rails. The return then goes to the upper port on the regulator, and the lower port then feeds back into the car's original fuel return line. P-clamps and wiring conduit are used to secure and protect the lines so they don't rub on anything they shouldn't. The EGR ports are being blocked off using these fabulous plates I got from modboxnz.com. And if you want to set for yourself, I'll leave a little link in the description below. Something else I made was this sketch, which then got made into this bit of aluminium. I'm going to be using a Bosch E-throttle body, which will not fit the 30D manifold in any easy way. So to get around this, I've made up this adapter plate which will mate the two profiles together. The throttle itself is going to be O-ring sealed, and the manifold just needs a little bit of hole boring to allow the bolts somewhere to go. And through the magic of editing, the two become one, and our Bosch throttle body will now fit our EZ30D. This throttle needs an adapter so a normal silicon coupler will fit. So I'm cutting up a whole lot, which means I can refit all of the intercooler pipes. Despite the extra length of the new throttle body, my original intercooler pipe still fits sweet and doesn't need to be modified. For clamps, I'm using these Aeroflow T-bolt clamps, which have heaps of force and should minimise any chance of boost leaks. Engine oiling is being provided by Castrol Edge 5W40. I've been using Castrol Edge for 8 years now and it is by far my favourite oil. Once the oil is filled up, I'm priming the engine by cranking over until the light goes out and the turbo oil feed flows. Here's something pretty cool. These spout fans should keep this massive radiator well serviced. They're being attached using some zip tie style mounts which will go through the radiator fins and hold the fans on. Now it's time to spice up this manifold. And just like that, we have brought so much life back into this engine bay. Here's a way to bleed your power steering that's actually easy. Pull off your suction hose fitting and use a funnel to feed fluid into the top of the pump and turn it over by hand until fluid starts to enter the bottle. Fill up the suction hose as well and then reattach it to the top of the pump. Turn it over by hand a few more times until it gets full circulation back into the bottle. Once the belt's on and the car runs for a little bit and does a few full turns lock to lock, it'll self-bleed pretty quickly and it won't aerate the fluid. Our front belt isn't going to be running an AC compressor, so it's being rerouted and the length is being changed to a 6PK 1040. A shorter bolt head is also added to the alternator for clearance. The factory alternator wiring is retained with no changes. So another important job that's got to be done is we've got to fit this here up, which is an oil pressure and temperature sensor. This is a Bosch one, pretty common, and they work pretty well. Now what I'm going to do with this is I'm going to have it mounted to the back of the intake manifold just here with a P-clamp. Same thing I did last time, the plug's already there, which makes it nice and easy. But while I was doing that, I was having a bit of a think and I'm thinking it might be easier to tap also into that line and put a feed to the turbo right there. If you would have seen us putting this engine together, you'll know that this goes past the headers. And it's what I did last time and it does work, but it's not really ideal because it's a hot area down there. So I'm going to give this a try and see if I can turn this line the other way, bring it back behind the throttle body here and plumb it into this line here. That line will go to this bung here on the top of the block, which goes straight to the oil pump. So a really easy place to get oil pressure from. And I'm just thinking it might be a better solution than having the oil line running all the way down there. The process remains the same, using a variety of AN fittings, thread sealant and just making what is needed to suit. The new turbo oil feed works a lot better and has the added bonus of allowing oil flow past the sensor to keep the readings fresh. And in the interest of not throwing a ride up too soon, I'm changing the wastegate spring pressure from 7 psi down to 5 psi. And that will give us a little more flexibility with boost control on the dyno so we don't push the engine harder than it wants to be. The sun sets for the day and closes off another bout of progress, getting us that little bit closer to a running, driving, mad EZ30 Turbo SuperSonic. Next time on Modbox, I'm rewinding back to the start and I'm going to give you the full deep dive on how I've wired this car up from start to finish. We're going to turn the key and we're going to finally bring this monster to life.